All right, welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about the Enleum HPA-23RM portable amp. And right off the bat, fantastic device. Like there's just rough, I mean, seriously, this thing is bananas how good this is. But let's get right into it. And this was sent out by Enleum. They're not asking me to say or do anything other than my honest opinion regarding this lovely, overly engineered, on a good point, device. So let's dive right into the build and aesthetics. We'll go over everything real quick and then dive into, sound, thoughts, all that kind of stuff, and move on from there. All right, so regarding the build, it's, lovely device. Like, it's seriously over-engineered, and the fact that they cram so much into this tiny little thing that's, this is ridiculously awesome. Like, this thing, to give you an idea, here is a iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it's kind of crazy how small this amp is for how much power it has. So diving into the overall build and what's on this device, you have your volume and power here, which you just kind of slowly twist, and then it'll kind of blink here to let you know it's warming up or getting set up, and then it clicks, and then that's when you know that you can listen to your music, or it's going to power through to your headphones. So that's the volume control. It's a little bit, it's very smooth, but some people have issues with it being kind of scratchy per se, but I never really noticed that too much. It wasn't a big issue for me. I actually had no problems with it. I actually really dig this kind of easy to kind of roll along right here like that. So that's the volume, and then you roll over here to your current and voltage and gain. All right, so with the current module here, which is the big 1/4-inch style, that works excellent with a planar magnetic. So like your Caldera, like these are my Caldera closed, and it powers them so good. This combo was bananas good, and the fact that I could just go almost anywhere with it, and we'll discuss that in a second. But yeah, fantastic. I really dug that the current module here allows for powering planar, hard to drive headphones such as planar magnetics fairly easily, no problem at all. And then you move over to the voltage side, which is the more traditional 3.5, and that is for basically everything else. And that, no problems there either, had no issues at all. In fact, I even swapped back and forth between, my easier to drive with the current, and it works just fine as well there as well. It's just, it's more intended for the planar magnetics or harder to drive headphones that require a little more current, like a steady high level current. So anyways, getting ahead of myself and getting into stuff that I'm really not the expert on. It's an engineering thing, and I am not an engineer. So anyways, moving on to the next part is you have this lovely gain switch for low and high. So it works excellent. It's a fantastic device, very simple, and just gets you to where you need to be. So let's power that down. You move over to the sides here, and it has these really cool fins, which they were on the bigger brother to this, the 23R, which is the big desktop amp that can also power such things as the over here, KEFs. And I did a video on that, and that was still one of my favorite desktop all-in-one solutions for having desktop monitors that are harder to drive. So I used it to power my KEFs as desktop monitors, and it was fantastic. Loved that. And this is no different. It just doesn't have the power for a desktop monitor or for speakers. So it's essentially the 23 just put into this tiny little mobile device. It's crazy what they did with this. I'm getting way ahead of myself again. Once again, the fins are similar design aesthetic as the bigger brother 23 and 23R. And this one, I believe, is the same kind of concept, where these are used to help dissipate heat from the device as it's running. So, and that's on both sides of the device. Then you move to the top, and it's more or less the same. It's very simple aesthetic, but I love the cutout lines and the overall look and feel of it. It's very clean. It does, if you have warmer hands, will condensate and create fingerprints, but it's not necessarily a fingerprint magnet. And then of course you have the lovely Enleum logo up there. Then onto the back, and here's where it gets a little more interesting. And you have the RCA ends, and then a 3.5 in as well. And so RCA, easy, traditional, basically use a RCA from a DAC. I was using my TT2, but my main one I used was my RME ADI2 DAC, in conjunction with this the most. I don't know why, it just seemed like because it's easier just to kind of move that to my desk and leave my TT2 up with the KEF setup. But anyways, so that was with the RCAs, and then you move to like on the go type of scenario. You have something like this, which is, I just got my little Rode little 3.5 to 3.5 male little thing. It's just cool because I really dig the look of the red coil. But then I plugged that directly into an Apple dongle, and then from there you just plug the 3.5 into the back of the device. You can kind of see, and then from there you can just plug this into your iPhone, and or if you have an Android, you get like a USB-C dongle, or your iPad or whatever, or even you plug it into your MacBook or what have you. And then from there you just have this really cool, I mean, this is it. This is the mobile setup. And this will power almost every single headphone you'll ever need. Anyways, back to the last little bit here is you have a USB-C charge port, which is very cool because then that allows for this device to have its internal battery power everything, which in and of itself is very awesome because of the fact that now you're removing any kind of power noise, you're removing any kind of power issues at all. This basically is a super clean sounding amp because of the fact that it has a built-in power supply that will be providing that power on a consistent basis. So you don't have to worry about fluctuations or any of that kind of stuff if you're into like that power issues or power conditioning, that kind of thing, built in. So and you can leave it charged or charging or plugged in while on your desktop. It's crazy, super good. And then onto the bottom is pretty standard fare. You have all your little screws and your little rubber feet, and they're really low profile rubber feet. So it's kind of cool. It's really nice, really flush to the desk. And it's just a lovely overall, that's it. Crazy. Engineering on this is crazy good. This thing is great. The aesthetic, if you like it or you don't, it's very simple. It's very clean. It's very industrial. New age industrial, maybe. I don't know the terms for these things, but I like the look of this. I think it's fantastic. So moving into the sound of it, I also have some songs that I was listening. My main listening devices that I was using were kind of all over the place, but mostly I was using, once I got them in, the Caldera Closed, ZMF Bokeh, and I was using HC800, my different, like the Atriums, my Atrium Closed and Opens, all my headphones I have on hand. And I think the most I used though was the Caldera Closed once I got it. That pairing has been my go-to for, actually I had to put off the making this review because I got the Caldera Closed more recently and I wanted to get a lot of time with it. So I've been mostly listening with the Caldera Closed more recently, and fantastic pairing. It basically gets out of the way. This is one of the most dynamic, lean, and wonderful sounding amps I've heard. It's crazy how good this sounds. It doesn't, it just gets out of the way. It's tons of power, and I didn't have any issue in regards to any highs being too bright, or if that feeling of like soullessness for some amps get kind of thing, and it never went overly gooey or anything like that. It was it's kind of like a Goldilocks thing. And the same with the bigger brother. 23 was similar. 23R, the bigger one, was a similar thing. It's just I can't say enough good things about how good this is and how much it just gets out of the way. It's just you plug in, you go, and everything just sounds fantastic. So diving into some of the tracks I listened to in my little notebook. Let's see here. So first off, some of the tracks first one will be Symptoms of Life. This track, specifically the Symptom of Life. Go watch the Tiny Desk concert that she did with this, or even look up the track and then type in on YouTube or on search, basically breaking it down. Different people that are musicians or what have you have broken down the actual music behind the track, and it's crazy. There's so much, you get so much of a roller coaster of emotion, not necessarily emotion, but roller coaster of the music. You get real tense, and then all of a sudden it's it's crazy. The music especially is fantastic in Symptom of Life, and you just have to kind of listen to it to get it, because the tempo and the beats it's a roller coaster. It's crazy. Let's see here, and her vocals are also really good. It wasn't the main thing I was focused on with this track. The main focus for me was listening to the music tempo and the music overall in the background. was fantastic. And also, as a side note, check out the bass player from the Tiny Desk concert and look her up, because she was just rocking. It was really cool watching her play the bass. So, getting way out of whack here, but on to the next track. This one was Spiderwebs. This is the special version. I don't know what makes it special, but that's what the title said. And this is by Richard Houghten. This one, I really liked it because it's more of that just guitar, like almost flamenco style, but he does layer in lots of different details, and other things come in, throughout the track, but it's mostly just guitar, and it's just a really nice way to kind of hear the tonal balance with, I was using the Caldera, by the way, for all these tracks listenings, with the Caldera closed, the Caldera closed with the Enleum 23RM, and it's fantastic. Like the way that the tones come in, and just everything was just so smooth and easy, and it just sounded right. It was really cool. I really dug that. And then moving on to the third track, we're talking Traveling Blues by The Human Experience. And so this one was really cool because of all the ambient like pops and little noises all around, and the low end was really nice. And let's see here. Other notes I put was, cool digital add-ins and layering, and great trumpet. So those are my notes for that track. So things to pay attention. And then for the final track, and this one got me. Like, especially with the Caldera closed and the Enleum 23RM combo, this next track just pulled me in and wouldn't let me go. Like, it was so fantastic. And this is a remake, more or less, or a redone kind of thing, but it's Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers, but it's with I'm going to butcher this name, Chineke Orchestra, and it's amazing the way the strings come in, and like the whole orchestra as they're playing along, and then his vocals are very forward and very present, but it doesn't take away from the orchestra playing, and you get all the detail of an orchestra, and like all the different width and stage and imaging, and with the Caldera and then the 23RM, they just paired so well, and it just presented it in such an amazing light that I was like, I listened to it so many times back to back just because it sounded so fantastic. So definitely recommend checking that one out, even if without this pairing. Just in general, it's just a really, really cool track. So that's the tracks I was kind of generally was playing with, and I was listening to tons of other stuff, but specifically those ones I wanted to highlight. So going into the final parts of what I think about the Enleum HPA-23RM. Say that 10 times fast. Let's see. Who is it for? Well, first off, this thing is ridiculously expensive. And honestly, like sometimes you see like a really high price tag for something and you're like, oh, that's ridiculous. Why would I pay that? And I will have to say that I think it's kind of warranted with this, just because of the fact of what you're getting in this tiny little package, that you're essentially getting this, super over-engineered, tons of power, can drive almost any headphone, all headphones I threw at it, it was fine with. I don't have like a Susvara or what's the other one that's ridiculous? I can't think of it. It's the other hi-fi man that's really hard to drive. But, with the Caldera closed, I had no issues. It was plenty of power, plenty of volume. I had plenty of room to play with the volume pot, and it did it. No problem. It's an over-engineered, tons of tech went into this, tons of thought and process and all that kind of stuff. Is crazy. Like what they put into this and what comes out of this, the sound performance is bananas. That being said, it is a very pricey thing. So who is this for? Someone that has the budget for it, obviously. First off, I don't think it's going to be a college kid thing. It's more, I think, for the business person that really loves to have quality sound, and they don't want to leave anything on their desk at the office, and so they want to have desktop high quality sound at the office or on the or while they're traveling on the go, and they don't mind lugging around like a really high quality set of headphones, but but this will fit easily in luggage or fit easily into like a backpack, or you can get a cool like case for it and it'd be perfectly fine. But that's the scenario I think this is for. This is for like the traveling business person or traveling person that just really wants the highest quality sound possible while on the go, and are willing to pay for that. And that's who I think this is ultimately for, because it's a luxury item on a whole nother level, because of the fact that it sounds so good and it can power almost any headphone that you throw at it, and it's in this form factor of this small Kindle book kind of style form factor. So yeah, with that, that's who I think this is really for. And my final thoughts on it, I think it's worth it. I mean, I don't have it in the budget to get it myself currently. Too much money spent on camera gear, but I do think that this, if you're in the you know, you're in the market for something on the go portable device that basically performs at the highest desktop performance, this is exciting because it's only going to get smaller and more powerful from here as tech gets better and better and people dive into that realm. Really bananas how good this is. I'm gushing, but it's truly a bananas, really excellent device. Anyhow, yeah, I highly recommend at least giving it a listen, or if you get a chance to hear it or play with it or pick it up and just kind of listen, definitely take that opportunity. So that's my thoughts on the Enleum 23RM, the portable little desktop amp. And yeah, fantastic device. Like I'm really digging it. So I don't want to gush any more than I already have. Excellent job Enleum did here with this. So with that, I will let everyone have the rest of their morning, afternoon, or evening back. So cheers everybody, and see you on the next one.